Welcome back to Black Mother Talk. I am the complete rep.
I am Jazz the Gemini.
And we are really happy to be back today.
Yes.
You know, the good thing about this space is it's a non-judgmental space. It's kind of like our therapy every week, right?
It is.
I feel like we got a woosah every week. After we're done doing this, I feel so good. But after one of our previous episodes, right, we were talking about friendships, right? Mm-hmm. And then we were talking about friendships on social media. And we got a lot of response.
Yeah, we did.
And so what I'm realizing is friendship is hard for a lot of people. The majority of our followers are Black women. So I would say friendships are hard for Black women. And it made me think, I think the problem is connecting with other women is hard.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. And I found that just from some of our comments from that episode that it seems, as crazy as it may sound, it seems easier to make friends with people on social media than in real life.
It's a lot easier.
That's crazy.
Well, let me just tell you for me, right? So I think people who will be watching this probably wouldn't assume that I'm an introvert.
Yeah, I think you would have to know you to know that.
Right.
Because you hide it. You cover it well.
Yeah, and on social media, I think people would find it hard to believe that I'm an introvert, but I am. And I think people have a lot of misconceptions about introvert, and I can go on about being an introvert because it's something near and dear to my heart. I think it's great, but but the thing about it is being an introvert is it's not that you're not social. It's just the certain aspects in which you're social. So I'm very social on social media.
Yeah.
I can chop it up.
Anyone who follows you would never believe that.
Exactly.
You are a whole different person on social media because you're way more open and talkative and engaging so nobody who follows you only would know.
Exactly. And a lot of people that I follow who say that they're introverts, I'm like, you really? You know what I mean? Well, actually, I'm not surprised because I'm an introvert too, so I get it. But I think a lot of people wouldn't think they were either, and it's just because of how we communicate. But saying all that to say is, it is easy to connect with people on social media because you just type it away. It's not as exhausting. For an introvert, it's exhausting and face-to-face to be giving that much energy that after I've done it, now I can do it in person, but after I've done it, I need a couple days, maybe a week to recharge.
Yeah.
I got to go into my shell and recharge from after all that socializing. So I definitely find it hard to connect with new people in person because I'm tired.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially from an introvert perspective. I've never really even known how I would classify myself, to be honest, because on one hand, I can see how someone would say introvert because I'm not friendly and I'm not social. But I like who I like, and when I'm around who I like,
you're very social. You're an extrovert with introvert tendencies.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because you're very social and you like being around people and talking and congregating and things like that, and that brings you energy and brings you to life. Yeah. That's the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. See, where that brings you energy and brings you to life, that's what charges you and fuels you up. That exhausts me. I can do it, but it exhausts me. And after it's done, I'm going to need a break.
See, yeah, for me, I need to do it.
You can do that every day.
Yeah, with the people I want to do it with. I don't want to do it with new people. And then for me, it's I've always been called strange or crazy because I don't like small talk. I despise it. I hate it with a passion. And it's not to be mean. It's just on one hand, I know you really don't care. So that all that, oh, how was your day? Or, you don't have to do that. I hate when people feel obligated to say stuff just to say it. We sitting in the doctor's office. You don't have to engage me. You sit and wait on Dr. So-and-so, and I'm going to sit and wait on Dr. So-and-so. We don't have to talk.
Please ignore me.
Read your magazine, and I'm a Facebook, okay?
That's funny because it's true. And you know what? What I'm realizing is what small talk to you is a full-blown conversation with somebody else.
Really,
and
though.
You're like, this is how deep as it gets. And that's how I am too. And that's a Gemini thing. Like, we like to deeply connect with people and understand. And so that's another reason why it's hard for me to have a lot of female friends and things like that, because I can't really call you my friend unless we're deeply connecting.
Yeah.
And then also deeply connecting exhausts me. So I don't have a lot of energy to give that to a bunch of people.
Now that I can totally relate to. And then you have certain friends that are just, it's going to be like, when you see their name pop up on your phone, you already know, like, it's about to be a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
And it's not a 2-hour conversation where it's like, you necessarily are looking forward to it or you're catching up. It's a 2-hour conversation because that person is about to tell you a whole lot of drama that you got to help them sort through, and that drains you.
Yeah.
And like, you don't want to talk to those people every day. Like, you care for them, they're your friends, y'all are real friends, but it is draining, it's exhausting, and it can't be done every day.
Yeah. And so just from that episode, I'm really realizing that it's hard for women to connect with other women. You see a lot of women like, I don't have a lot of female friends. Most of my friends are guys. Or, you know what I mean? And you're like, and I used to be looking at them women like, what's wrong with you that you can't connect with women? But as I get older, I understand, okay. They're like, oh, I got only guy friends. And you're like, okay, So, I guess the question I'm asking is, besides the obvious things of maybe it's a jealousy thing, you feel intimidated by other women, or I don't know, what else?
It really does have to be something, because even when you're not trying to make friends, just us in passing, we're so mean to each other. Like, you could have just said hello and pat, like, hey girl, or give somebody a smile. I know with these masks, you can't really tell if somebody's smiling or not, but
right.
You can see it in their eyes. But we don't even want to speak to each other, let alone toss a compliment or, you know.
And I was thinking too, like, it's not even just friendships, like sister relationships, mother and daughter relationships. There always seems to be like a strain. Like, either your stuff is on point, or either it's like, you know what I mean? Like, either you're super close, or either like you struggling in all your women relationships. And so I don't want to say it's a black thing.
Right.
Because I think this is, probably common across all people and across the board. But, I can only speak to the black community, and I do see that as something that's common. We have a hard time connecting. And I kind of pride myself with being able to get along with anybody. Now, whether we become best friends or anything
right.
is a different story. But, I've only encountered a few people that few women that I absolutely cannot cannot get along with, you know what I mean? And so I think that, I think it's something, you know what I mean? Like, and should we be okay with that? Or do we need to do better? Like, should we be okay? Like, to me, I'm always like, look, I ain't your cup of tea, you ain't my cup of tea. That's fine. But we don't have to be nasty to each other.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, one, we don't have to be friends, but we can still be cordial and passing to other women just because we're women. Like, it's hard enough for us as it is. So, like, when you see somebody and you like her shoes, just say it.
Yeah.
You like her hair, just say it. Like, we don't have to reserve compliments, or I think we just I don't want to say it's black women because it could just be a women thing. I just unfortunately don't know enough non-black women to, say. But we just assume the worst automatically and don't want to give a compliment. Like, we just assume because she looks well put together, she thinks she's all that, so I'm not going to give her a compliment. Or, you're hating because, she figured out a way to straighten her hair and you got the curls and you can't get it to look like that, so you're not going to compliment her on her straightness, like her straight hair.
Now, growing up, there was, there's not a lot of women in my family in general anyways, so the few women there were, I wouldn't say we were as close as we should have been, because there was just such a limited, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that, I think as we got older, we got closer. Even as I got older, I got closer to my mother and things like that. And, I mean, I'm her only daughter.
Right.
And so I'm just like, while I was growing up, our relationship had a strain on it. But now that I'm older, I'm able to understand her better. She's able to understand me, and we just accept and love each other for who we are now.
Absolutely.
But I can see how that was a problem growing up. And I seen on Red Table Talk, Jada Pink and them, they were talking about like how mothers treat their sons differently from their daughters and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I really think what it is, I have not been blessed with a daughter, but what I really think it is you just see yourself in your daughter, and it might be something in your daughter that you see that you don't like about yourself. And two, I also think you just want your daughter to be so much better, and you know how hard it is, specifically being a black woman, and you're raising a black woman, and so you tend to be a little bit harder on her, where you coddle your black boys because you know the plight of black men in America. So you do want them to have some safe haven. I mean, I think black women are hard on their sons too, but I think at a certain extent you do want to be that safe space for them at the same time. Like, the rest of the world go be hard on you, but maybe subconsciously we're a little bit softer because it's like the rest of the world is being so hard on you.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, because I saw a statement that I had never heard before in regards to black women, treating their sons a lot more lovingly than their daughters. And they said, excuse me, that black mothers raise their daughters and love their sons.
That's deep.
It is. And I was like, well, damn.
Damn.
That's it right there. Because that's
exactly how I feel.
What it is. And I think what you said is the reason why it happens. They know their sons are going to suffer at the hands of the world, so they try to love on them and coddle them or whatever. Yeah. But they prepare us for the world, because we have to be the ones to carry the weight and to lift them up. So they raise us and love them. And when you're in it as the daughter, that sucks.
Oh, it do.
Yeah, and like,
it's painful.
I've seen it like in almost every situation that I know of where there was a daughter and a son. It's always been that way. But like for me, I have 2 sons and a daughter. She's still too young for that to be an issue right now, but I don't want to do that. But in this in my situation, it's unique because I honestly feel like I will be doing the opposite.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I could see you being the opposite, because you tough on your boys.
I am very tough on them, because I feel like even though what you said makes sense, that's why I'm tough on them, because I feel like the world is going to be, so I want to prepare them for that world. Like when my oldest son was younger, his daycare teacher told him something that I feel like in the black family we do too often, but I understand why she told him that, and I liked it. And she told him, to put his feelings in his pocket. And that's because, like, your feelings are not going to get you anywhere in life because people are not going to always acknowledge them or care about them. But I don't think that means don't express yourself. It just means you can't go around here crying and bitching about stuff all the time because society is not going to tend to it the way you want it to.
Because I feel you on that. But then another aspect of that is, what are we teaching our black men? Like, to not feel, to not show emotion.
But we do teach them that, and it's not
like
good.
He's a baby. You know what I mean? And we're already telling him, like, man up, basically.
Pretty much. And like I said, this was daycare, so you know he's
like 2. I got a problem with that.
And I in the sense of today's world, I do too. I understood where she was coming from.
She's coming from, absolutely.
And it sucks. So what do you do? Like, y'all tell us, what do you do? Do you, first of all, is it okay to raise your daughters and love your sons? Or should we be doing
We should be
the
raising
same?
and loving our kids. And I think that's where we have to, you know, that's where we have to progress as a people.
Yeah.
You can raise and love your kids, but I do think we have to do better. That's just period. Point blank. But I do think that the raising of daughters, I'll say black women in general, the raising of black women in general has elevated us. Because when we show up,
we show out.
Yes. And we are steadily striving for excellence, and we are, you know, just steadily doing the damn thing. Basically, the most layman terms. Like, we're just doing the damn thing.
And we've had to be the backbone. Like, everyone knows grandma is the foundation of a family. Like, it was her prayers that saved you. It was her love that kept you. It was her presence that had y'all acting like y'all had some sense and even coming together. And when she left, the whole thing fucking fell apart. So that raising of the daughters made us strong because since, I won't say the beginning of time, but at least since slavery, we've had to. We were the ones that put the shit together and kept it that way.
Yeah.
Like, and it sucks because we both need to be able to express our feelings, male and female. And we both need to be able to carry the weight of a family. And I'm not talking financially. We all know people have their gender role feelings. But I'm saying humans need to be able to be vulnerable and feel how they feel and express those feelings openly and honestly and not feel rejected or wrong for doing so. And women should be able to fucking fall apart if they need to fall apart.
And you know what else too, though, about the mom and daughter thing is I think in general we're more prepared for living without our mothers than
a son is. Yeah, because they raised us, so that they instilled in us the things to be able to get along without them.
To like,
the sons were not like they ironed their clothes and still, you know, got their food and you know, made sure they were good. And baby, you eating, you know, even as grown men, they still checking on them. As our mothers are like, did you cook for that man today? Like,
right.
You know, like they prepared us to be able to succeed without them. Their sons cannot. That's why I guess the Bible say when he find a wife, he finding a good thing because like
Lord, you out here bad, you know. You can't do nothing.
Struggling.
That's a really interesting topic. You know what? We should really like have some different generations on here because I mean I could speak to my mom and she's always told me her mom was so hard on her. My mom is the only girl of 4 brothers. Yeah. And she was like, my mom was so easy on my brothers, but on me, she was so hard. She was like, I used to be so mad and angry with her, and I'm like, well, you did the same to me. Like, you were so hard on me. I felt like that. And she's like, I was nowhere near as hard on you as my mother was on me. That may be true, but you was way harder on me than you were on my brother.
Yeah.
And you know, looking back, it was painful and it hurt because sometimes you feel like you love them more than you love me. You know what I mean? But that's not really the case.
No,
it's just they're just preparing you for a different life, I guess. And so, you know, in some aspects, I'm thankful. In other aspects, I wish, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm just thankful we're in a better place where we can get that
absolutely
bond that I wanted back then.
Absolutely.
We can get that now.
And Willow, on the Red Table Talk episode, she said, you know, that Jada was absolutely harder on her than Jaden. She said even when she was waking them up for school, there was a difference. She would come in her room like, get up, you gotta get ready, you need to go eat breakfast, you need to be by that door by a certain time. But if it was Jaden, she was like, come on baby, wake up. And then, you know, she would be standing by the door with her book bag and everything ready to go, and she's like, oh, let me fix your oatmeal, sit down and eat breakfast. And Willow was like,
I bet you Jay didn't even know she was doing that.
She didn't. She said, she was like, wow, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I did do that, but she didn't realize she was making such a difference.
What is that?
It's you knowing that your daughters can handle it and your sons cannot.
Because we all
they assume.
We all need therapy. You know what I mean?
We do.
They did say something else on that episode, like your childhood is short, but it's long, basically, because you never get over. Like I always say that.
She said childhood is forever.
Yeah, you spend your whole adult life trying to get over what happened to you as a child. And I think it's just all those things. I think from how you and your mother was to why it's hard for you to connect to other women. It's like this untrusting thing you see. And then like my mama didn't have a lot of female friends. And so I don't have a lot of, you know what I mean? I think it just kind of goes.
And see, my mom, on the other hand, had quite a few female friends we thought were, but like the vast majority of them ended up being not true friends or backstabbing her or deciding to be ghosts when she needed them. However, she was there for them when they needed her. And me seeing that, I think that was why I never trusted females or wanted any friends, because I saw like,
well, that's
females ain't shit in my mind.
That's interesting because Jasmine comes from a family of women.
All, like, mainly women.
So, you would think.
And in my family, which was the opposite of what you've seen, they were close. So, it's like, as my mom, she has 3 sisters. So, they were like friends, each other's friends. Mm-hmm. And only my mom and like one of my aunties actually had friends, like
they were each other's friends,
but like they were each other's friends. And then when other people would come in, it was a like, oh, who was that? Or no new friends type of vibe. And so that kind of trickled down to me in a sense of I didn't even want to take the time to make friends. And then when I stumbled upon real friendships, I'm like, okay, it can be a good thing, but it's exhausting for me because I'm the type that it's a whole Indeed job search situation for me. So if you come to me, I need a resume. We're going to interview. You know, you're a liar until proven trustworthy. Like that, so it's exhausting for me to make new friends because of what I see.
And men don't do that to each other.
They don't. They make friends.
We have to do better.
With anything.
Peeing at the damn
like,
restaurant.
Oh, hey, I like them Nikes you got on, and
like,
then they're the best of friends for life.
That's really sad that we're not trusting of each other like that, because when we do come together, it is so powerful.
It is, though.
It's like bring tears to your eyes. Right. You know, so that's just very interesting.
And it shouldn't take sororities, no offense to anyone who's in one, for us to form a sisterhood. Women
That's a
itself
lot
should
of
be a
times why
sisterhood.
people join
I know,
sororities.
but it
just
shouldn't
for the
require
sisterhood.
that.
I mean, their whole message is about service and
Yeah.
things, and it is sisterhood. But a lot of the times, I mean, that would be the only reason I would join one, just to like make friends and connect
and the
with other
networking
women
and stuff. But
like that.
why can't we do that on our own, just off the
It's like
premise
we
that
need
we're
somebody
women?
to organize it for us
Yeah, but
instead
like,
of it just
why?
being authentic and natural.
Why can't it be like a, a Wakanda forever, just because we're women? Like, you just see another black woman, it's
That's
just
what I
an
try to
instant.
do. Like, as I've gotten older, because before I didn't used to do this. Like, I would think in my head complimenting somebody, but I would just never tell them. And as I got older, I'm like, why not just tell her? Like, so now, anytime I see anybody that I want to compliment, I'm like, oh, you look cute or anything. Because I know growing up, I used to be thinking it, but would never say, because I'm like, I don't know how she gonna respond. Nah, I don't care how you respond. Like,
see, I need to get to that point, because it's so sad, because in my mind, the only reason I don't give a compliment is because I am not sure how they're going to respond. And if you respond negatively, I'm going to then again respond negatively. And I don't want to do that. Like, I feel like,
it's so rare and far in between that you shouldn't even worry about it.
You're right.
Like, I give so many compliments all the time. And it's like every blue moon I'll get somebody like,
or don't even say nothing.
Like, or just like, or I feel like they think they better than me. And I'm just like, oh, you poor little tink. You got a little self-esteem. It's hard, huh, to accept a compliment.
And I remember,
like
it's. I wish I could have thought like that, like back in college. You were there. Mm-hmm. There were some girls that were just, felt they were of a different caliber than the rest of us for whatever reason. And I remember one girl, I cannot remember her name, but yes, I can.
Don't worry, sis. We ain't gonna call you out.
Right. But I complimented her. I don't know what it was. It was something like, let's just say it was a shirt. I was like, oh, I like that shirt. I have one too. And she was just like, oh, okay. Literally. And I was like, bitch.
Right.
And so from that moment on, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not even about to tell sister she cute. Like,
right?
But keep it to myself.
You
and that's
can't
sad.
let one bad apple spoil the bunch. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So.
You're right.
We gotta declare to do better in general as women. Come on, women. I'm calling you out. I'm calling myself out. Like, we have to do better.
We do. And as black women, we're already scrutinized and judged. So let's not give them something to further.
Right, because I'm sick of them talking about us. Black women only tear each other down. We
lifting each other up from this moment forward.
Exactly.
We got
seen what we did in this election.
Yes.
Okay, so when we come together, there's nothing we can't do. Like, it's so powerful. So I gotta go get my son.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be back though. Y'all make sure y'all follow us, stay connected with us. We're on all social media platforms at Black Mother Talk. Follow us, chat with us, uplift us. We uplift
Subscribe,
you. Let's do this. Let's just change the narrative, okay?
Please, y'all.
All right, we'll see you.